delighted to be hosting our third annual corporate governance event with Davy here in Dublin this morning. The panellists we have are among those who are shaping the debate for companies on governance and how they should engage with and interact with not just their shareholders but all stakeholders.
I was hosting the panel discussion on board composition, which is at the very heart of good corporate governance. It was very interactive, covered a very broad range of topics from tenure to diversity, skill set, evaluations of board dynamics and interactions. I think what's key to note is that for decades boards have continued to operate on structures implemented a century ago. Yesterday's approach to board composition is no longer effective for the type of governance required for today's top performing businesses.
I think with the code changes coming in next year, the issues of stakeholder engagement and in particular employee or workforce engagement are going to become more crucial. I think for workforce engagement, boards obviously will have to make a response based on the specific suggestions of the code, but I think it's important that non-executive directors as a whole think about how they can get out and about within the company rather than just relying on another board member or an employee body to do it. It's up to them as individuals to take on that responsibility.
The new code is particularly focused on what the nomination committee does and how it reports back on what its work is. It's particularly important that the nomination committee review both the composition of the current board but consider what the future requirements for the strategy of the company as it goes forward. So not only looking at immediate succession planning but future succession planning issues.
One of the key themes of our conference this morning was shareholder engagement, and I think certain companies are still facing challenges in managing that whole process and engaging with shareholders, who to engage with, the governance team, the fund managers, and I think a lot of the work we're doing in the later part of the year is around ensuring that the appropriate people hear from the company what level of shareholder engagement, how many shareholders they should engage with, in what way, and that sort of sets up the company in the strongest position possible as you enter the AGM season in early 2019.
The IA was asked to create the public register because we felt that too many companies were ignoring a high vote against. And the public register brings together all those companies that have had more than 20% of shareholders vote against a resolution. We're really asking companies to acknowledge at the time of their AGM that they've had a high vote and they're going to do something about it. And secondly, within 6 months, to provide an update statement explaining what they've done, what they've heard from their shareholders, and what actions they've taken as a result.
Engagement is a really important piece for us. It's very important that we build up a relationship with the companies that we invest in. So we like to meet the executive management, the CEO and the CFO, as well as the chairman. And especially when the chairman's new, we want to build up a relationship with him because it's important to have that relationship ongoing so that if there is a problem, we can pick up the phone and we know who to speak to. And vice versa, if they need to come and talk to us to get some feedback on something that they're considering, then they can speak to us. Not only can we be reactive, so talk to companies when there's a problem, but increasingly we're trying to be more proactive, get to know the chairman and talk to about potential problems that could be clouds on the horizon, things like board succession and those sort of things, and any other issues that they are really worrying about.